Friend, listen to me loud and clear. You are one bold decision away from a jackpot life. Not 10 steps, not a decade. One decision, one moment, one yes. That's how fast everything can change if you have the courage to move. Money is one of life's loudest teachers. It teaches through pressure, through peace, through lack, and through overflow. And the truth is, money will take the lead in your life if you don't. It doesn't ask. It just does. It will dominate your mind, your time, your choices, your dreams, unless you decide, right here and right now, to flip the script. Because money is a servant. It is not a king. And if you don't teach it how to serve you, it will gladly rule you. And it won't even feel guilty about it. See, too many people wait to get rich before they take money seriously. But that's like waiting to get in shape before going to the gym. You don't need stacks in the bank to start leading your money. You just need a decision, a firm one, a bold one, a master's decision. The decision to stop being afraid of money, stop worshiping it, stop hiding from it, and start managing it, speaking to it, directing it, like a boss, like the leader you were born to be. Most people don't even realize they're serving money, but it shows up in their stress. It shows up when they take jobs they hate just to survive. It shows up when they fight with their spouse about bills. It shows up in those silent late nights where the fear of not enough keeps them awake, racing through numbers they don't even want to look at. That's money in control. That's money calling the shots. But friend, you were never meant to be mastered by your wallet. You were meant to multiply what you've been given. You were meant to build, to invest, to leave a legacy that outlives your body. And that doesn't happen by wishing or waiting. It happens when you rise up and decide that you are in charge. You don't have to be born into wealth to master it, but you do have to rewire the way you think about it. If you grew up hearing that money is the root of all evil, let me tell you, that's a twisted quote. The love of money is the root of all evil, but the stewardship of money, that's the root of provision, peace, and purpose. It's not evil to want to be free. It's not evil to want options. It's not evil to want to bless others, to build things that outlast you, to live without the crushing fear of debt breathing down your neck. Money is like fire. It can warm your house or burn it down, depending on who's in control. So today you choose. You can keep hoping things will magically get better financially, or you can declare, right now, that you are the authority over your money. You are the one who says where it goes, how it grows, and who it helps. You are the one who puts it in its place, under your purpose, not over it. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to start. Track your money. Speak kindly about it. Respect it. Give it structure. And refuse to let it define your worth. Because here's what most people don't realize. Money behaves differently when it's respected. It shows up. It multiplies. It aligns. When you start showing up with clarity and leadership, it stops running wild and starts obeying. Start small. Control a little before you expect a lot. Zig always said, you don't pay the price for success, you enjoy the price. And I'll tell you, there is nothing more enjoyable than living life on your terms. Not because you're rich, but because you're in control. That's real wealth. That's what we're chasing. And here's where manifestation becomes magnetic. When you step into this mindset, the mindset of a financial leader, not a financial follower, the world starts shifting in your favor. Opportunities show up. Ideas flow faster. You start noticing solutions instead of problems. That's because you've stopped waiting for money to rescue you, and you've become the rescuer. And let me be clear, this isn't about greed. It's about freedom. It's about ownership. You can be generous and wealthy, humble and wealthy, kind and wealthy, but not passive and wealthy, because money doesn't honor passivity, it honors mastery. And that mastery begins inside, in the thoughts you think when the bank account's low. You see, once you take that first step and choose to lead your money, instead of being led by it, something powerful begins to happen. It doesn't just stop with dollars, it travels deeper into the way you think. Because whether you realize it or not, your bank account is a mirror of your mindset. It reflects not just your income, but your beliefs, your habits, your self-worth, your patience, your discipline. It's not just about how much you earn, It's about how you think about what you earn and what you do with it. You can't out-earn a broken belief system. You can win the lottery and still lose it all in 5 years if you still think poor. You can get a raise and still stay broke if you see money as temporary, scary, or evil. That's why most people don't have a money problem, they have a mindset problem. And the moment you understand that, everything begins to shift, because money will rise to meet the level of respect and clarity you carry in your head and heart. Start noticing the way you talk about money, not just out loud, but to yourself. Do you say, "I never have enough, I'm just not good with money. People like me aren't meant to be wealthy"? Those are not just harmless thoughts, they are declarations, they are financial blueprints, and your actions are unconsciously building exactly what those words say. Thoughts are seeds, and words are the water. Keep planting scarcity, and you will always harvest struggle. But when you flip the script, when you begin to speak wealth, think abundance, and expect overflow, that internal climate changes. Suddenly, instead of seeing obstacles, you see opportunities. Instead of "I can't afford this," your mind asks, "How can I afford this?" That one question shift changes everything. It opens a door, it invites answers, and when your thoughts open the door, your habits start walking through it. You are not cursed. You are not destined to repeat your parents' money mistakes. You are not behind. You are exactly where change begins. And that change won't happen with just a budgeting app or a spreadsheet. It starts when you believe differently. It starts when you stop shrinking around money and start standing tall with it. Wealth flows to people who respect it, not worship it, not obsess over it, but respect it. That means treating money with care, with clarity, with gratitude. Whether it's 500 rupees or 500,000, how you treat what you have tells the universe whether or not you're ready for more. So stop saying just when you talk about what you've got. It's not just a paycheck. It's not just a side hustle. It's the seed. And when you treat the seed like it matters, you'll start seeing growth that surprises even you. Your internal thermostat around money determines your external results. If you believe you're only meant to make a certain amount, you will unconsciously sabotage every chance to go beyond it. If you believe rich people are greedy, you will never let yourself become one. If you feel guilty every time money shows up, you'll push it away without realizing it. That's not fate, that's programming. And the beauty of programming is, it can be rewritten. Right now, you are rewriting it. Right now, by showing up and choosing to see money differently, to speak to it with power, to believe that more is available, and you are worthy of it. You are shifting the thermostat, and you don't have to shout it to the world. You don't have to announce it. You just start walking different, talking different, choosing different, because something inside you now knows, I'm not just hoping for money, I'm preparing for it. And when you start preparing for it, when you take even the smallest steps with belief, money starts preparing for you. Opportunities start coming, not because the world suddenly got lucky, but because you became someone who recognizes and receives them. People begin to treat you differently. You start getting invited into rooms that used to intimidate you, not because you begged, but because your mindset began sending a new message. I'm not just dreaming about abundance. I've already made space for it. And when you make space, the right doors open. So yes, money is a reflection, but now you know how to change the mirror. Now you know that it's not about being smarter, or luckier, or more connected. It's about choosing different thoughts, speaking different truths, and letting those truths become habits. That's the beautiful thing about mindset. It compounds. You start with one thought. That thought becomes a decision. That decision becomes a pattern. That pattern becomes a lifestyle. And before you know it, you don't just have more money, you have peace, you have confidence, you have options. And that internal shift, that new belief that you are worthy, that you are capable, that you are called to lead your money instead of fear it, that belief fuels the next step. Because once the mind is aligned, discipline becomes easy. And discipline is where money starts to grow. Roots. You've made the decision to master your money, and you've started thinking differently about it. You've begun treating it with respect, believing in your ability to create more, and your habits have begun to shift. Now the next step, and the one that will make all the difference, is discipline. Without discipline, all the intention and thought in the world will amount to nothing more than fleeting moments of motivation. Discipline is what takes the dream of wealth and turns it into reality. It's the bridge between vision and execution, between desire and tangible results. Discipline is what transforms your words into actions, and your actions into lasting change. It is what keeps you going, even when the excitement of the new goal fades, or when the distractions of life try to pull you off track. If you want to master money, you cannot expect instant results. Money, like success, is built with small, consistent steps. Every decision you make around your finances must be backed by the power of discipline. And it's not about being perfect or making the right choice every time. It's about being consistent in your actions, and your beliefs, and your approach to money. The discipline to show up, even when it's hard, will pay off more than any momentary surge of inspiration. Think about it for a second. Every financial victory you've ever had, every time you've successfully saved, invested, or created more, has been the result of discipline. The person who saves $100 a month consistently will have more money in the bank than the person who saves $1,000 one month and nothing for the next 6. The key is not to rely on bursts of motivation, but to set up a system of discipline that works for you, day in and day out, regardless of how you feel in the moment. This is where so many people go wrong. They expect financial success to come quickly, as if there's some secret shortcut. But true wealth, the kind that brings peace and sustainability, is a marathon, not a sprint. There are days when it's hard to stick to the plan. Maybe there's a temptation to spend, or an unexpected expense knocks you off course. In those moments, it's easy to get discouraged, to believe that your discipline isn't enough, or that you'll never achieve what you set out to do. But that's where most people give up. They abandon their goals because they feel like they're not making fast enough progress. But those who stick it out, who choose discipline over distraction, who continue to make wise choices, even when it's uncomfortable, they are the ones who will look back and realize how much they've built. The most successful people are not those who never faltered, but those who got up every time they fell, those who remained committed, even when the path got tough. Now you might be wondering, how do I make discipline stick? How do I make it a part of my financial life without it feeling like a constant struggle? The answer lies in structure. You must create the framework that keeps you on track when motivation fades. Create systems that are simple and repeatable, so you don't have to rely on willpower alone. Automate savings, set up clear goals, and break them down into manageable steps. Know exactly what you're working toward and why it matters. When you make your financial decisions based on the structure you've created, not on fleeting desires or emotions, discipline becomes effortless. You're no longer fighting against yourself, but aligning with the vision you've set. This discipline isn't just about saying no to instant gratification. It's about creating a life where delayed gratification becomes a habit, a mindset that you embrace because you know it will serve you in the long run. The true power of discipline comes from understanding that small sacrifices today lead to massive rewards tomorrow. Every dollar you don't spend today is a dollar that will compound and grow, working for you instead of draining you. Every day you put away a small amount is a day closer to your goals, and over time, this consistency becomes more than just a financial strategy. It becomes your lifestyle. It becomes the foundation upon which you build your future. But here's the catch. You can't do this in isolation. You need the right people around you, the ones who will challenge you to grow, who will encourage you when you stumble, and who will remind you of the vision when the temptation to quit is strongest. Discipline thrives in a community that shares your values and vision. So surround yourself with those who understand what it means to be financially free and who will hold you accountable. Sometimes, the path to financial success is a lonely one, but it doesn't have to be. Find the mentors, friends, and allies who will help you stay disciplined when the road gets tough. As you continue this journey of mastering your money, remember that discipline is not about perfection. It's about showing up day after day, committed to your vision, your goals, and your future. And when you miss a step or make a mistake, don't let it derail you. Just get back up and continue moving forward. The beauty of discipline is that it's always available to you. Every morning is a new opportunity to make the right decision. Every moment is a chance to realign with your goals. And as you continue to build this foundation, you will begin to see the results of your efforts compound in ways that feel almost magical. Your money will grow, your peace of mind will grow, and your future will begin to reflect the discipline you've applied today. Discipline is the key that unlocks the doors to financial freedom. It's what allows you to go from wishing for a better life to creating one. And the best part, it's completely within your control. No one can take away your ability to decide, to act, to build, to create. Discipline doesn't require talent or luck. It requires a decision to choose the long term over the short term, the stable over the unstable, the consistent over the chaotic. When you make that decision, you'll realize that money will stop being your problem. Instead, it will be your partner, working alongside you, helping you create the life you've always dreamed of. And that, my friend, is the power of discipline. Now that discipline has begun to shape your daily walk with money. The next undeniable truth rises to meet you. You must take control. You can no longer afford to drift, to let your money happen to you. You must happen to your money. Because here's the raw truth. Either you run your finances or they'll run you. And if you let them run you, they'll run you into fear, into chaos, into a place where every decision feels like survival rather than creation. But when you take control, not just in principle but in action, everything starts to change. Taking control starts with awareness. You cannot master what you don't measure. If you don't know where your money is going, how can you expect it to work for you? Most people live in a fog when it comes to their finances. They don't know their spending patterns, their debts, or their real net worth. And this ignorance costs them more than just dollars. It costs them peace. It costs them the calm assurance that comes from knowing, from standing on solid ground. Awareness is power. When you see the numbers clearly, they stop holding power over you. Suddenly you're not just reacting to the month's bills, you're anticipating them. You're allocating with intention, not guessing in panic. It's not enough to say, I want more money. You've got to take the wheel and steer. You've got to say, this is what I earn. This is what I keep. This is what I invest. This is where I'm going. That's what control sounds like. That's the language of someone who's decided that life will no longer be dictated by randomness, by consumer culture, by fleeting emotions. And you don't need a fortune to start taking control. You just need commitment. You don't need to wait until you're out of debt or until your income hits a certain number. Control doesn't wait for circumstances. It begins when you choose it, right here, right now. You see, the power of taking control lies not in just knowing what you're doing, but in becoming intentional about why you're doing it. When every rupee or dollar has a job, it stops leaking. When your income is told what to do, whether it's paying down debt, building up your emergency fund, or being funneled into a dream, it starts compounding in ways that create security, freedom, and abundance. But that kind of clarity doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you plan, when you sit down and look your financial truth in the face and say, you're mine now. I'm not scared of you anymore. Now let's be honest. Taking control can be uncomfortable at first. It means confronting your spending. It means owning your mistakes. It means maybe facing the fact that you've been blaming your circumstances instead of managing your choices. But that discomfort, it's the price of breakthrough. It's the doorway to peace. When you step through it, you'll find power on the other side. The kind of power that fuels change and keeps your future from looking like your past. And here's something remarkable. When you take control of your money, you start to take control of other areas of your life too. You start showing up differently. You stop tolerating chaos. You begin to organize, prioritize, and optimize everything. Your confidence grows because you're not just hoping things work out, you're making them work. Your decisions gain weight, your voice gets stronger, and your days start bending to your vision instead of being swept away by life's currents. That's the magic of control. It multiplies. But don't fall into the trap of thinking control means deprivation. It doesn't mean cutting everything fun out of your life. It means aligning your spending with your values. It means deciding what actually matters to you and letting your money reflect that. You'd be amazed at how freeing that is. Because when your money is pointed toward your priorities, you don't feel guilt about spending. You feel joy. You feel alignment. You feel peace. And that's what we're chasing. Not just riches, but financial peace. Control creates that. You can't wait for the perfect moment to take control. You must create the moment. That's what leaders do. And yes, you are the leader of your financial life. No one else is coming to rescue you. Not the government. Not your employer. Not the market. Not luck. You are your own rescue. You are the one who gets to decide, this ends with me. The fear ends. The confusion ends. The shame ends. because I'm taking the reins and I'm not letting go. You've got to become the CEO of your own money. You've got to set the vision, cast the goals, and hold yourself accountable like your life depends on it. Because in many ways it does. As you take more control, you start experiencing momentum. You start seeing the fruits of your new mindset, your discipline, your boundaries. You begin to trust yourself again. And when you trust yourself with money, you unlock your power to multiply it. Because control doesn't just keep you from falling, it positions you to rise. It puts you in the posture of abundance. It teaches you that money is a tool, not a master. That wealth is a result, not an accident. That financial destiny is not written by luck, it's written by leadership. Your leadership. And from that place of unshakable control, a new fire begins to burn, a desire not just to manage money, but to grow it. Not just to survive, but to create wealth. Because once you've tasted what it feels like to run your money, instead of letting it run you, the next step is inevitable. You begin to build, you begin to multiply, you begin to leave behind the old rules of scarcity and embrace the laws of increase. And that's where you're headed now, toward expansion, toward elevation, toward legacy. Once you've taken the reins and assumed full control over your finances, something deep inside you begins to shift. You no longer see money as something you have to chase. You begin to understand it's something you command. And with command comes clarity. With clarity comes power. And with power comes one of the most transformational steps on your journey. You must multiply what you master. Because once you've gotten your house in order, once you've turned the chaos into clarity, the fear into structure, and the habits into alignment, now it's time to grow. You weren't born to just manage. You weren't designed to merely budget and breathe. You were meant to build. This is where you move from financial defense to financial offense, from merely protecting what you have to creating more than you've ever known. Multiplying money isn't just about having extra income or some fancy investment strategy. It starts with mindset. You see, money multiplies in the hands of the faithful, the responsible, the intentional. If you've proven you can handle little, you're being positioned for more. It's not about luck, it's about stewardship. And this is where you begin to think like a builder, not a consumer. A creator, not a collector. You stop asking, what can I afford? And start asking, what can I create? That shift, that single mental pivot, will open doors you never even saw before. Now urgency becomes your ally. Not panic, but purpose. Because the world isn't waiting. Inflation isn't waiting. Opportunity isn't waiting. And if you sit on your potential too long, someone else will use it. So you must multiply with urgency. You must begin to turn your income into assets, your skills into revenue, your ideas into impact. Your money should not just sit, it should work, it should sweat. It should be your employee, not your escape. And here's the truth most people miss. You don't need millions to start multiplying. You need movement, you need consistency, you need courage, because the first $100 you invest is worth more in growth and identity than $1,000 spent aimlessly. You're not just compounding interest, you're compounding belief. You're stacking wins, you're building muscle, and that momentum will carry you further than any shortcut ever could. But to multiply, you must be willing to grow beyond your comfort zone. Because multiplication lives outside the ordinary. It lives in learning, in expanding your understanding of money, in studying how wealth is actually built. Most people stay broke because they never take time to learn the language of money. They learn how to earn it, maybe even how to save it, but never how to scale it. You must change that. Read the books, watch the mentors, join the circles where conversations are about assets, not liabilities, where visions are bigger than vacations, and goals are bigger than paychecks. You must also get radically honest about how you spend your time. Because time, like money, must be multiplied too. If you're spending hours scrolling and complaining, you're not in multiplication, you're in erosion. But when you start turning evenings into courses, weekends into side projects, and conversations into collaborations, now you're in motion, and motion is where multiplication thrives. You weren't given time to waste. You were given time to turn into wealth, into progress, into something that grows beyond your own life. And don't forget, multiplication is not just financial, it's spiritual, it's legacy. When you multiply, you position yourself to give, to bless, to build others. This isn't about becoming rich just to feel powerful. It's about becoming resourceful so you can empower. The more you grow, the more you can pour. The more you have, the more you can lift others. It's about becoming a steward of abundance, because poverty thinking says, there's not enough, but multiplied thinking says, let's create more for everyone. Fear will try to creep in here. It will whisper, what if you lose it all? But faith answers back, what if I learn and gain tenfold? You see, faith is the soil where multiplication happens. And if you've walked this far, if you've disciplined yourself, taken control, and commanded your finances, then you already have the faith it takes. You've proven you're no longer living by accident. You're living by design. You're no longer running from money. You're building with it. And the beauty is this: when you begin to multiply intentionally, you step into a rhythm that becomes unstoppable. You begin to attract opportunities. People start to notice your mindset, your movement, your mastery, and doors open that had once been closed. Not because you begged for them, but because you became the kind of person those doors were waiting for. As you multiply, your story changes. No longer are you simply managing bills. You're managing investments. You're thinking in terms of impact. You're dreaming in terms of generations. You stop asking if you'll make it and start declaring how you'll leave something that lasts. That's the mark of someone who has gone beyond survival, someone who's living in overflow, in acceleration, in authority. And now, with the engines of multiplication roaring to life, you begin to feel something new in your bones, the drive not just to build for yourself, but to become someone who teaches others to do the same. You're not just a student of abundance now, you're becoming a leader in it. You realize it's no longer about how much you can keep, it's about how much you can leave behind. And that's where we go next, from accumulation to legacy, from growing for yourself to growing for those who come after you. You've walked a long way, from taking control of your finances, to aligning your actions with your vision, to multiplying every seed of money and effort into something larger, something powerful, something lasting. But now comes the most sacred responsibility in your financial journey. You must leave a legacy, because if all you do is build for yourself, then you've missed the higher calling of money. Money is not just a tool for comfort, it's a tool for continuity, for impact, for reaching into a future you may never see, and whispering, I was here, and I made it better for you. Legacy isn't about marble statues, or your name carved into a building. It's about lives touched. It's about children growing up with options, because of the roads you paved. It's about someone sitting in a classroom, reading a book, or sleeping under a roof you helped make possible, even if they never know your name. And that's the thing about real legacy. It's quiet, it's consistent, it doesn't brag, it builds, and it starts with your mindset, because you can't leave a legacy if you're living only for today. You must think generationally. You must make decisions not just for your bank account, but for your bloodline, for your community, for a future that demands you rise above impulse and into intention. Every dollar you save, every habit you pass down, every business you build, every piece of wisdom you speak, it matters more than you know. You may be the first in your family to do it right. You may be the one that changes the course of your family tree. That's not a small thing. That's divine work. And urgency still lives here too, because time will not wait for you to get around to it. The moment to plant is now. The moment to write that will, to set up that investment account, to teach your children about stewardship, it's today. Tomorrow is a thief if you let it be, and what you leave undone will be left undone by others. If you want your legacy to live, you must breathe life into it yourself. Don't wait until you have enough to start thinking about legacy. Legacy begins the moment you live on purpose. And this isn't just about money, this is about values, about what your name stands for. You see, money without wisdom is a curse. A rich inheritance with no understanding becomes a burden. But when you pass down wisdom with wealth, now you're building dynasties, not just bank balances. So speak life into your home. Model consistency, model humility, show them how to build, how to serve, how to grow. You are the seed, and every seed becomes a forest, if you're willing to water it with your time, your truth, your faith. The beautiful part is, the legacy doesn't wait until you die. It begins to echo while you're still alive. You'll see it in the people you mentor, the lives you support, the hands you hold. You'll feel it in the way people speak about your character, not your net worth. You'll see it in the businesses that live beyond you, in the habits your children inherit, not by what you told them, but by what you showed them.
day after day. The way you live becomes the blueprint others will follow. And that means your life, your actual daily life, is the legacy. So live it fully, live it with fire, live it knowing you are setting a course that could impact 100 years from now. Because you are not just managing money, you are managing momentum, and the direction you push today becomes the wave that carries others tomorrow. The truth is, most people never get here. They stay stuck in survival. They chase money but never understand it. They fear it, fight it, avoid it, and so they never rise to this final beautiful step, to build something that lasts beyond themselves. But you've walked the fire, you've taken ownership, you've broken cycles. You've learned to multiply, to move, to master, and now you've arrived at your higher purpose, to turn all that growth into goodness, into something that breathes long after your last breath. And when that day comes, when you're no longer here, but your fingerprints still touch lives, your wisdom still guides hearts, your sacrifice still echoes through generations, you'll know money didn't master you, you mastered it. And in doing so you built something far more powerful than wealth. You built a life that mattered, and that, my friend, is what it was all for.